Hi, my name is Bethany Young, and I am the president of the Global Health team here at Stockton University.
Okay, Beth, we have a couple of questions about global learning. Talking about global awareness, what is global self-awareness in your own words?
Global self-awareness is knowing who you are in a specific situation, whether it be the culture that you're in or the culture that you're visiting, and understanding that there's differences between the way that you live and the way that somebody else halfway across the world lives.
And do you consider yourself globally aware?
I like to think that I'm globally aware. However, everybody still has a lot of learning to do, no matter how old you are, how many times you've traveled. So every scenario is going to be different. But I try my best to realize the situation I'm in and take it from there.
And have you ever traveled abroad and were able to speak their language?
I'd like to think that I'm pretty good at Spanish. However, it doesn't necessarily work out the way I want it to in my head than it does in real life. But I have been to Guatemala and the Dominican Republic, both of which are located in the Central America or in the islands. And even then, both dialects of Spanish were a little bit different, so there's always that situation that you're brought up with.
And do you think global self-awareness is an important topic, and why or why not?
We're a globalized world now, between social media and the trends involving tourism and this constant, studying abroad. I feel like everybody needs to understand on a personal level what it's like in other places and how to kind of put yourself in a situation where you're not gonna offend anybody or, kind of put America in a bad name when you go abroad. That happens a lot.
Yes, exactly. And do you think that people not being fully aware of one another's backgrounds, beliefs, and ethnicities can lead to unnecessary violence?
Oh yeah, ignorance is the most common reason for violence that there is. I'm not going to go on a world war scale because I'm only an undergrad student, but that YouTuber, for example, went to Japan and was throwing fish on the ground and throwing stuff at taxis and making noise in in one of the most sacred temples in all of Japan. And I think if somebody told him beforehand, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that, I don't know if he still would have done it for YouTube likes or whatever YouTube has, but I feel like a lot of that could have been avoided if he was more aware of his surroundings and more aware of the culture that he was putting himself in.
What are your ideas on the topic of perspective taking?
That kind of trails off of the first couple questions. In order to really understand a culture or why somebody does the things that they do, you need to understand from their perspective first. You can't possibly understand why a certain culture eats a certain way or wakes up or designs their house a certain way if you don't live that way every single day. So in order to, like I said, really understand what's happening, you need to be able to look at something from somebody else's perspective. Yours isn't the only important one out there.
And how do you think you can build your perspective-taking skills?
Asking questions. It's sometimes uncomfortable to ask a lot of questions, but ignorance is, like I said, ignorance is one of the most dangerous things in the entire world. And I'd rather ask a question that makes me feel uncomfortable for 5 seconds and then get a lot of learning out of it than kind of sit there and assume something that's not actually true.
And can you describe one time you were personally stereotyped, if you can?
It's kind of hard in America. I am perceived as white. I do come from a Native American and Portuguese family. So, there are times in school if you get into a fight with the other race, the first thing they throw at you is a racial slur, but as somebody with white skin, you can't really say, oh, well, I'm Native American and Portuguese, because they're going to be like, no, you're white. So that does happen even now, even to us.
And why do you think these stereotypes exist?
Because people don't really have anything else to fight about. They are mad because they don't agree with one another on who should date who and if abortion should be illegal. So the easiest thing to throw out is a racial slur or something about a culture they have no idea about. So I think it's just people are mean and people are okay with hurting other people's feelings no matter what the cost is.
And how do you communicate with individuals whose values, beliefs differ from your own?
I ask a lot of questions. One of my best friends is from Ghana, And it was kind of uncomfortable at first because I was stereotyping her. I was trying to think of things that I could say to her that wouldn't offend her in certain ways. But once we got comfortable enough, I was able to ask her every question under the book and realize that the area that she was from was no different than here. She even showed me pictures of the house that she lived in when she lived there, stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
So do you identify with a culture other than the American culture?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm Native American and Portuguese, but my family primarily focuses on Portuguese culture. So in America, that's mostly centered around food. So it's like the absolute hottest spectrum you could possibly think of, and then the sweetest spectrum you could possibly think of.
And what is the most unique thing about your culture?
Probably the way that things are pronounced. So if you'll find a lot of Portuguese people in Massachusetts, and there's this specific pastry that is called molestadas, and people in Massachusetts call it molestada, and it kind of freaks me out because people literally just can't pronounce it, but it's just a donut.
Oh my gosh. And when you hear the phrase cultural diversity, what do you think of?
I think of an area or a group of people that not only accepts a bunch of different cultures, but is willing to embrace and change the way that they think or the way they do things for the respect of somebody else's culture.
And are you interested in learning about different cultures?
Absolutely. I took a global issues class. I go out of my way for my club meetings to learn about different things that are affecting other people in other countries. And a lot of that's problems that we wouldn't face here, but it's important to them, so I'd rather be just as important to me. Same thing with our club members. Our club members are extremely culturally diverse, and when they come up to me and there's a specific topic that they want to talk about that may not be in my absolute interest, but I'll make sure to make it a point to make the most important thing at that club meeting because that's what they want, that's what they need.
And what events, activities do you participate in to keep yourself more aware of different cultures?
I meet with the Director of Global Engagements, India Karbakis, every couple of weeks. I attend a couple of global lectures that she hosts. Like I said, we have our club meetings bi-weekly and we talk about different issues that are going on around the world and how, as undergrad students, we could take part in solving these issues one by one.
Do you feel responsible to contribute to the local community?
I feel like as a college student, even just as a person, everybody should feel responsible for their own community because who you are is what shapes how everybody else is going to perceive you. And if everybody did a little bit, that'd make more of a difference than one person trying to do all the work.
And should college students seek to improve the society?
I feel like if you're not trying to improve the society, then why are you even in college? You pay $40,000 a year for what? To be if you want to be a teacher, why are you a teacher? You're not a teacher because you love good money. You're a teacher because you want to change the lives of students. So that should just answer the question itself.
Definitely. And do you think your school promotes global awareness?
We are one of the only undergrad schools that I know of that has a full global engagements office. Not only do our students have to go through training to go study abroad, they have to take specific classes. There's this club that they allow us to go abroad and really, immerse ourselves in different cultures in different areas around the world. And we're not the only club that does that. We're not the only class that does that. And I think that Stockton really, does a good job. Professors go abroad for dissertations. They go abroad for, a professor, I forget what her name was. She just went abroad for an annual Indian dance festival. So, it doesn't end. Stockton's not just a New Jersey school. It's not just a United States school. We have Korean students coming in and doing foreign exchange programs. We send so many people abroad every year that Stockton's not just, in Galloway or Atlantic City. Stockton's everywhere. So.
And are you aware of the United Nations and its current purposes and goals?
I studied a little bit last semester. I had to watch President Donald Trump speak to the United Nations about his issues, and I haven't really caught up with them since then. I do know that there is some controversy right now about things that America has done in the past, and I know that there's definitely going to be a lot of controversy to come about the bombing in Syria, but until then I'm going to try to stay out of it a little bit.
And what do you think people can do to make a difference in the global world?
It starts small. Don't Don't think that you're going to volunteer in an orphanage for a week and change their lives, because you won't. Don't think that you'll be in a clinic for a week and change their lives, because you won't. Recycle. You know, really shop local. Don't shop at corporate companies. Go to the local farmers market. If you go abroad and travel, don't go to the gift shops. Go to the woman on the corner selling bracelets. Go to the fruit vendor. You know, talk to everybody that you possibly can, because not gonna lie, there's a very bad image of America right now, but you don't have to be that image. And I think one person at a time, being culturally responsible, which is another really good vocab word, is a really great place to start.